It is a busy Wednesday, or as we like to call it, Savensday. Joining me now to discuss all the biggest things making the rounds today, please help me welcome Savannah Guthrie.
Hi.
Great to have you.
Do you think Savensday is catching on? I don't think so.
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
I'm just going to keep saying it over and over.
Wednesday.
Savensday. We considered Wednesdana, but I like Savensday.
I like it.
Okay, so did you guys see Savannah's interview of Omarosa on Monday? Well, perhaps you've heard Omarosa has a book out. I don't know if anybody's seen that in any headlines. So after she met with Savannah and Chuck Todd the day before, she's gone to a lot of places. And there's been a lot of twists and turns in what feels more and more like a reality show, right? Still, between Omarosa and President Trump. Omarosa Manigault Newman is celebrating her book, and she, like her boss before her, is a master at PR. The feud between them appears to be escalating, and NBC's Kristen Welker has the very latest. Watch.
Overnight, Omarosa Manigault Newman saying there's only one way to shut down President Donald Trump.
That is to just don't give him the oxygen, and the oxygen comes from the clicks, the likes, the shock.
It comes after the president referred to his former apprentice as a dog earlier in the day. Team Trump not backing down.
Would it be appropriate for me to call a woman a dog? Yes or no?
It depends on what she did to you, Ed.
Depends?
It depends on what she did to you. I don't know what she did to you. Omarosa bit the hand that fed her. To me, that's what a dog is.
This has absolutely nothing to do with race and everything to do with the president calling out someone's lack of integrity.
The backlash as Manigault Newman alleges she heard an outtake from the first season of The Apprentice in which Mr. Trump allegedly used the N-word multiple times. The White House asked point blank. Can you stand at the podium and guarantee the American people they'll never hear Donald Trump utter the N-word on a recording in any context?
I can't guarantee anything, but I can tell you that the president addressed this question directly. I can tell you that I've never heard it.
The president denied using that racial slur, but Manigault Newman says her claims are backed up by a new recording of a discussion during the 2016 campaign about the alleged tape with other aides, including with then spokesperson Katrina Pearson.
I don't know what the scandal is. No, he said it. He's embarrassed.
In an interview overnight, Pearson insisting those comments were taken out of context.
Because it's not real. That's the whole point.
In another revelation, Manigault Newman says she's been interviewed by the special counsel and is open to meeting again.
You know, if he calls me, I certainly will participate with anything that he needs.
Adding that candidate Trump absolutely knew about the emails stolen from the Clinton campaign before they were released by WikiLeaks, but declined to give any details.
I am going to expose the corruption that went on in the campaign and in the White House. I'm going to continue to blow the whistle on all of this.
Overnight, the president's attorney insisting Mr. Trump had no prior knowledge of the WikiLeaks email dump.
I know she's lying because I was on the campaign more than she was.
What a cast of characters, right? All right, so we're going to discuss it with Savannah a bit. So can I just ask you, first, let me just say this to the audience. If somebody said to me, can you guarantee that Savannah Guthrie has never used that word, I would say, yes, I can guarantee that. Yes, absolutely, no problem.
Right back at you.
Right?
Yes.
And yeah, it's like just her mere hesitation at guaranteeing it tells us a lot. But can we talk about, because you're a recovering lawyer, I'm a recovering lawyer.
Yes.
The lawsuit that Trump has filed against her.
You're trying to pull us back in. This is a relapse if we talk about the law.
This is a relapse, yes. So now they filed this claim against her in arbitration because they're alleging she violated the non-disclosure that she signed when she was working on the campaign, not to say anything disparaging about him, about his family, about his company. And she's out there saying he said the N-word and he's a bully and he's unhinged and he's crazy and he's lost it and he's decompensating, all the things she said.
Yeah.
I mean, I think legally they probably have her. But I think politically, there's a real question about whether they should be doing this.
Well, you know what? That's exactly what I would say. I would say legally, if she signed this agreement, if it covers this period of time, I think there was some dispute about whether there was then a transition non-disclosure agreement and then a White House, and did she sign it or didn't she? But let's just say, for the sake of argument, it does cover this period of time and she's still under its protections, then yeah, it seems like perhaps they have the case. Now, she says that she's a whistleblower, so maybe she'll try to argue in court, well, I have some greater public policy rationale for breaching the NDA. Who knows? But it just gives more oxygen. So that's to your point about maybe it's a sound legal decision. It's certainly a hardball decision from the Trump campaign to say, we'll see you in an arbitration proceeding.
Yeah. And
but
anybody else?
It's just more, it's like just pouring gasoline on the fire that does not need any more gasoline.
Oh, he's so good at calling attention to the worst stories about him. Right? He's like, he takes the worst allegations and he spends so much time calling the nation's attention to them. Well, we'll see. I think if she says something disparaging about her time during the campaign, then she's potentially in trouble because she wasn't yet a public employee back then. She was a private employee. Okay, I have to ask you about this. The Royals, a headline quickly out of London today, where the Royals are apparently getting ready to crack down on Thomas Markle. They're going to take a more aggressive strategy toward Meghan Markle's father, who likes to talk to the press a lot. Her half-sister Samantha's going on Celebrity Big Brother all the way. And I'm just laughing at the thought of Queen Elizabeth there, like sitting with the corgis, like, I will issue a stern statement.
I know.
I'm like, what are they going to do?
What are they, like, put him in the Tower of London and not let him out or something? Like, I was like thinking like some medieval thing going on here.
Don't mess with the Windsors.
The whole thing is just so sad. I don't know. He's just saying all these crazy things. He doesn't seem like he's well. I wish they could just somehow resolve it. Yeah. And I don't know. It's sad.
I think the solution is, you know how Doria may be moving to London? Her mom?
Yeah, her mom.
Well, I think they should move him to London, and he should have his own little wing in, like, Buckingham Palace.
The Tower of London idea.
Something only nicer, you know, with good furniture and food. And like, then he's not going to be taking the money from all the tabloids to talk.
Yeah, the criticism that some have of the Royals is like, why you should have put your arms around him and embrace him and then try to, you know, take away what appears to be a financial incentive to continue to talk to these tabloid outlets.
They've got more money than God. They can afford it.
So just do it and then take it off the table. I have no idea. It's just as the Royals turn, you know? It's
exactly.
Like crazy.
To me, it's sad, though, because she apparently hasn't talked to him since May. Reportedly, Meghan hasn't talked to him since May, after he, talked to the paparazzi about her and her life. And, it's like, it's her dad, and he's not a young man. He's not in the greatest health, and, like, she's going to regret that if they don't button that up. Okay. Speaking of regrets.
Where are we going with this?
Anchor hair.
Oh, I've got a few.
Okay. So there's actually a new report from InStyle about what explains news style hair, and that there are apparently rules when it comes to news style hair. These are the rules in case you didn't know. No. This is why 95+% of female newscasters have the same hair. You have to wear your hair down. It has to be in a smooth style. It has to hit at the collarbone or above. I mean, we're kind of close.
Yeah.
Updos and complicated styles are not permitted, nor are drastic color changes.
Well, I dyed my hair red on the Today Show.
Youthful appearance is key, Savannah. It's key.
Right.
Oh, crap.
Just pulling it back. Yes.
No grays. A bit of wave is okay, but ringlets and kinky curls are not, and on it goes.
Translation, helmet head.
Yeah.
I actually would be happy if I could just put a hair helmet on my head every day, because my hair is like a lifelong struggle. It never looks right, and I know that.
It looks perfect now.
I see your tweets, I know. And I am, if I could be, remember in Star Wars when Darth Vader's helmet like came down? If I could just come to work and they just put like a helmet straight down on my head and it never moved, I'd be good.
Totally
And
happy.
I'd never have to worry about it.
But look at that. That's cute.
Oh.
That's the old Savannah. That is Savannah Guthrie, ladies and gentlemen, in case you were wondering.
Look, that's my natural hair color.
I think we should talk more about the makeup or the lack thereof in that photo. Now, the hair was fine. It was, like, appropriate for the time. I feel like the makeup is the key. If you don't have enough makeup on, you look terrible on
I didn't
TV.
know how, though. I didn't know how to do it.
You were doing your own.
In local news, yeah. You just go in there and you're, like, in the bathroom with 5 other people, like, trying to put eyeliner on.
Totally.
I didn't know what to do.
Can I tell you on the, like, no drastic color changes?
Yes.
So in 2005 or 6, I was going through a divorce, and I cut off my hair and I dyed it dark, pretty dark. Like, it was brown. Yeah, it was brown. And
Pictures,
I'll never
please.
forget, I think we've got, well, this is when it was starting to grow out and it was starting to get a little lighter. Can we show it? Yeah. Okay, but it was a little darker than that. A little darker than that. But Roger Ailes called me up and said, I hired a blonde and I want a blonde. And they're allowed to do that. Most of our contracts have little stipulations that say dramatic changes in appearance have to be approved by the boss. I mean,
Remember,
it sounds so
used to have
sexist,
the
but it's a
long,
thing.
flowy locks.
For the presidential debate, and then I cut them all off.
chopped it.
Yeah.
I know. Do you guys like anchor hair? Be honest. We won't hurt our feelings. Yeah, no. could
they're being polite.
Yeah, they're being polite.
But see, after I had that hair, the presidential debate, and then I chopped it all off, and I have to say it was so liberating. So liberating.
Well, by the way, didn't it? You must have had like 45 minutes to an hour free that you didn't have before because you would have to blow dry that hair.
No, the long hair I could just put in a ponytail every day. The short hair actually required more maintenance.
Oh, really?
When I wasn't here I have a hairstylist, you know, at work.
Yeah.
But on my own, I just look like, you know, ragamuffin. It was everywhere. But I love that transition because truly it was like, I've said before, I felt like I went from F me hair to F you hair.
You did. That was the moment in life. It
That
felt
was
like
it.
that.
It was the beginning of everything.
Yes.
That debate when I had the long hair was where I asked President Trump about referring to women as dogs, and lo and behold, that's come back into the news. Okay.
Full circle.
On that, lady, great to see you.
You too.
You look amazing.
Thank you, as do you.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.